Madison County Board of Commissioners meeting today, Monday, March 18th, 2024, 8:30 a.m. the West Tennessee Research and Education Center.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today we've got Brother Larry Murphy, who is the Executive Director of the Madison, Chester, and Crockett Baptist Association. He's been there for 25 years. Brother Larry Murphy.
Thank you, guys. I want to read a prayer to you and then close out. Some of you may not know who Lloyd Ogilvie was. Lloyd Ogilvie was the chaplain for the United States Senate during the terms of Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. And on March the 1st of 2002, this was a prayer that he prayed over the U.S. Senate. It says, "Loving Father, you have shown us that the antidote to pride is praise. In this time of prayer, we intentionally praise you for all that we might be tempted to think we have achieved or acquired on our own. Pride stunts our spiritual growth, creates tension in our relationships, and makes it difficult for you to bless. Thank you for breaking the bubble of the illusion that we are where we are because of our own cleverness or cunning. Humbly we acknowledge that we could not think a thought without your guidance and inspiration or accomplish anything of lasting value without your strength and courage. We dedicate this day to praise you for the privilege of serving you here in this position, for supernatural gifts of wisdom, discernment, and vision to maximize the talents that you have given us, and for the power to press on with opportunities that you have opened for us. All glory and honor and praise be to you." Let's close in prayer. Father, thank you for this day. Father, forgive me already today for not having praised you enough for all that you do for us, for taking for granted the things that you do in our lives. God, I hope and pray that every person in this room today, regardless of the position that they hold in government or politics or law enforcement or in any area, that God, we would not assume that anything that takes place without your giving okay to it. God, help us to praise you for all that will take place and all that we do. God, give you the honor and glory for living and working in our lives. For those of us who call ourselves Christ followers, that we would recognize you above ourselves and above anyone else. And God, I pray today that if there be one in the sound of my voice that does not know you as their Savior, that today, through the power of your Holy Spirit, you might touch and reach their lives. And God, that all the decisions that would be made today, they would realize that the greatest decision they would make today is trusting you as Savior. We give you honor and glory for everything that takes place. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Vote is up. Has everybody got their vote in? There we go. 22 present.
No, it's still got one out here.
Present, but it's not working.
Okay. Let's go 23 present then.
Well, it should be Bond, Bryant, and Johnson, so we should have 22 present.
You might have probably Mr. Black.
Look at back
Her, so you got the wrong switcher.
Look at the back of it. When she put down.
There we go.
Well. There you go.
All right, and Carly's not here, so we do have 22 present, 3 absent. Votes closed. Without objection, the minutes will be entered into the meeting by unanimous consent. Is there any public comments today? Announcements from the chair. I want to welcome Chief Turner back. He had a few days in the hospital with smoke inhalation, and we appreciate everything he does, and we appreciate everything all first responders do. I want to thank the Sheriff's Department for handling some issues that we've had in the county fast and professional, and we just can't do enough to thank them, and I want to give them a hand, all of them. Good to have you back, Chief. Report and presentations by the county mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies, if y'all come on in. While they're coming in, we come together this morning to shine a spotlight on a group of remarkable young women from the University School of Jackson. Lady Bruins brought home the Division IIA State Championship Trophy. Let's give them a round of applause. About this time last year, I was doing this for Southside. So let's make a habit of this. Let's do this every year. How about it? This is a first for the school, and they've done it with tenacity, teamwork, and an unforgettable triple overtime win that had us all on the edge of our seats. It was in the crucible of that game that the Lady Bruins showed their championship medal. With the score locked at 41 at the end of regulation, 48 after the first overtime, and 56 following the second, the Lady Bruins unleashed their prowess, outscored the Goodpasture Lady Cougars 14-2 in the decisive third overtime. In a display of true team effort, Halen Ayers, determined MVP, led scoring with an impressive 30 points and 12 rebounds. What's even more striking is that as a freshman, Halen has stepped up in a way that speaks volumes about her talent and the trust her team places in her. Lily Teague, with her sharpshooting, sank 5 out of 6 attempts at the three-point line, tallying 16 points. Ellen Driver, Sophie King, Mia Spellings, and Ava Barham added their own crucial points piece by piece, building towards the win. Ava's tenacity was something to behold, grabbing 17 rebounds. She was everywhere she needed to be, making sure the Lady Bruins kept the ball where it belonged. The tie at the end of regulation and the 2 overtimes kept us biting our nails, but in that final stretch, the team pulled ahead with a clear message: get up one more time, then you get knocked down. It's not just the wins, but the spirit, the drive, and the support they've shown each other that's made this championship possible. Each one of you contributed to your team's success. All the Lady Bruins, and I do mean all, have demonstrated what it means to work together with a single vision. That's something that resonates well beyond basketball. We're so proud to have these athletes, these students, and these role models as part of our community. To the coaches, parents, and staff who've guided them, thank you for your dedication. And to the Lady Bruins, thank you for giving us a season we'll always remember. Here's to many more to come. Congratulations, Lady. Today, Madison County is celebrating with you. And I also want to recognize Halen Ayers, 2024 Miss Basketball winner. That's a big deal, guys. Last but definitely not least, Coaches Joel and Ashley Ayers, thank y'all for being here. Why don't you go to the line and y'all introduce yourselves and tell me what year you are, name and year.
I'm Halen Ayers. I'm a freshman. I'm Addison, freshman.
I'm Lily Teague. I'm a freshman.
I'm Jessie Baum, I'm a freshman.
I'm Elle Hall, and I'm a freshman.
I'm Sophie King, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Mia Spellings, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Ellen Driver, and I'm a junior.
I'm Leda Rose, and I'm a freshman.
I'm Cooper McGee, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Alice Lee, and I'm in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I'm Ava Borum, and I'm a senior.
Let's give a round of applause, guys. It's young, yeah. Y'all are all saying that they're young. So I made no mistake saying that we may see them back. And so you've set the bar pretty high. You got to come back in the next few years. But thank y'all so much. We're proud of you. We couldn't say thank you enough for letting me do this again every year. I'm just so proud of you. So thank you once again, guys. Your 2024 state champion, University School of Jackson Lady Bruins.
Anything else, Mayor?
No, but I will say, give a shout out to our Reverend, Right Reverend this morning. That's Larry Murphy. That's my father-in-law, ladies and gentlemen.
That's smart. This morning, we'd like to welcome Dr. King to join us. I think he's got some good things to share with us, and we're looking forward to it.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman Taylor, for allowing me the opportunity to come and just share kind of highlights of where we are as a community in terms of schools. One thing that resonates with me here is that we all have a collective notion in this community around the public school system. And I really appreciate the effort that we all put in wanting our public school system to be the best school system around. Although we may not have the same ideas, but I think we get to the middle to make it happen for kids. Again, I want to applaud our law enforcement for working so diligently with us as we take on different issues in schools and trying to mitigate any problems and provide a safe environment. And I'll talk more about the safe environment and what happens when you provide a safe environment for schools. And so again, I want to thank you all just for the support, and I'll also share some more information that I want to applaud your efforts in continuing to make our public school system grow. And so the first thing that I want to share, I gave you our strategic plan, which is an annual report. There are several pages in the front that are loose. It's like 4 sheets of paper that in the very front of the magazine, in the book, that I want to bring to your attention. Normally, you talk about data that comes from the State Department. Well, I'm going to use a bit of different data, and the data from the Tennessee Department of Education is within this report right here. And so I'll just point out some areas that you can go to in your free time to read the data from the Department of Education. But I want to share some other data with you to kind of qualify the progress, the incremental progress that we are making as a community in terms of our school system. So when you look at this 2022 Child Wellbeing Report, I think this report really raised eyebrows here, and I think this kind of started the Children's Cabinet. When we noticed, like, our county was, if you look at the top, it's like ranked 95th. But when you drill down and you see in the bottom right, education was ranked at 92. And looking at the proficiency for 3rd through 8th grade in reading, and looking at the proficiency for math in 3rd through 8th grade math proficiency, you see those numbers are, and of course, high school graduation rate. Those numbers are not what we are capable of doing. We are so much better than that. And so what I appreciate and what I applaud is this commission for understanding that and wanting to make certain that we have a strong effort in pushing what we need to push in our public school system. So this is a report from back in 2022. But let's fast forward. And that's basically just ranking, showing you where we are in terms of, and this report is holistic. It talks about the health of our community, the economic well-being, family, and community. So if we go to the next slide. So the most recent report. So we're ranked now in terms of the county 89th. But if you drill down to the education section, I think it's very important to see where we were ranked 92 in 3rd through 8th grade reading proficiency. And we moved that rank to 87th, if you see that. But notice what's really significant, you all, is we were 14.9% proficient, and we moved to 22. That's making a huge jump. Not where we want to be, make no mistake about it. But it's showing the progress that's being made. If you look at 3rd through 8th grade math proficiency, and I talked about math being the problem, oftentimes people say that literacy is the problem, but we do have a problem with mathematics. And you look at the 9.8 that we saw on the previous slide, and then we moved to 18.1. Now, this report is from an entirely different department. It's not from my department. It's not from the state education department. So I wanted to bring up a bit of data that would show some of the incremental progress that we're making, and it's all because it's a collective effort. It's not me, it's not a teacher, it's not a principal, it's a community collective effort. And you see progress like this when it's a community's collective effort. If you look at the grad rate at 87.9%, we were ranked 87th, and now we're ranked 74th with a 90.4 graduation rate. I'm not going to highlight the other indicators where economic well-being, health, or the others. I think you have this document that you can look at. But if we go to the next slide, one thing I wanted to point out in this report that it said, if you notice, on the first line it says, at 89th, Madison County is near the bottom of Tennessee counties in child well-being. The county's strongest area was education. And so when you look at that report, and you look at what's happening collectively, you all, we're making some progress, but again, remember I said earlier, it's not where we want to be, right? And so I just want to share this and say, hey, we got to keep going. We can't stop now. We've started something, and what we want to do is finish it. As a result of this progress that we're making, I think it's important to note on the next slide, if you go to the next slide, please. One of the things that we did, the Board of Education, the commission supported this, is we moved our salary average from $37,000, you all, in 2020, 2021 to 2023 to $46,000. In 2020, that was we were like 107 out of the rankings in terms of teacher salary. One of the things I truly believe is that if you take care of your employees and you make sure that you put the investment in the employees, financially and professionally, you're going to see different outcomes for students. And so I would attribute this increase as the increase in scores also. What this allowed us to do was retain teachers. And so we were not losing teachers every year because our salary is so low. Now we have a competitive salary that we retain our teachers and we continue to invest in them professionally. If you look at the next slide, so I thought this is your LOE, which is your actual effectiveness, your teacher effectiveness. So I listed all of the schools, and what I wanted to see was the impact of our salaries in terms of teacher effectiveness. Are the teachers getting better because we're investing in them? So if you see where we started in 2021, the very last column, we see some red marks, which meant that those were some hot spots that we weren't doing too well in terms of teacher effectiveness at that school overall average. But if you move over to 2022, 2023, you see better progress and you don't see red anymore. So the effectiveness of our teachers is getting better. Remember, it's a slow process. Rome wasn't built overnight. We won't be able to change this overnight, but I guarantee you, as we all work collectively, and I mean all, I'm talking about commission, city, everybody, as we work collectively, we're going to continue to see this level of progress. But this is huge when you see what's happening in terms of effectiveness. If you look at the next slide, let's talk about teacher retention. So in 2019, we had a very low retention. That means teachers were coming in, leaving, coming in, leaving. So what happens when we start making those investments, you can see the year that we made that huge investment. The year we made the huge investment and we launched the longevity pay, you see we were at 93.6% in terms of teacher retention. That's huge. Now we dipped back off in 2022, 2023, but these are still significantly higher than our previous years when our salaries were low. So when you think about investing in your teachers, what does the teacher retention rate look like? What does the level of effectiveness look like? If you really want a true return on your investment when you talk about investing in our employees. But if you look at the next slide, what is huge, now this is really huge right here. TISA funding, remember BEP funding, maintenance of effort, MOE. In the new TISA funding formula, at the apex of the pyramid, there is another funding method, and that funding is outcomes. So if your students are proficient, if your students are improving, if your students are achieving and growing all, if they are doing that, what the state says, we're going to give you additional money for those students. And this is a bonus. It's not to go to that student, it's like, we're going to incentivize you all for making the grade. For us, our county, if you go to the next slide, because of our outcomes for third grade ELA achievement, fourth grade ELA growth, middle school and high school, those two areas, we received $900,000 for outcome. And I think we've had, how much has been drawn down so far, Karen? Maybe, we don't know that number, do we? On outcomes?
I'm sorry, I didn't bring that.
Oh, okay. So what this says is the outcomes I showed you all earlier, this is what's happening as a result. And let me qualify something and share something. This is not going to impact maintenance of effort. Because we got additional $900,000, this does not, we have to match. This is a bonus. Because next year, if the results are not as good, we don't get the $900,000. And so the object of the game is you have to improve every year to get more money. And this is for student outcomes right here. But another thing that's happening for us, if you go to the next slide, and I want to applaud this commission for your investment in our SROs. While that wasn't on my major radar, I appreciate Chairman Taylor's foresight in saying, hey, look, we want to invest in security right now before we invest in something else. And when you think about that, and look at the enrollment, when you see the enrollment increase, academics important, but let me tell you, the first thing that's important to families, safety. They want to make sure the schools are safe. And if schools are safe, I'll bring my child. And then education is the second thing. And so this commission is to be applauded for making sure that we have SROs who are trained in our schools. And I applaud Commissioner Weiser for working diligently with my staff to make sure that not only do we have SROs in high school and middle schools, but elementary schools.
Sheriff Weiser.
Sheriff, I'm sorry. I'm commissioner. I apologize. But in elementary schools. And I think Sheriff can tell you, you don't find too many SROs in elementary schools. And that's huge. And so I really appreciate the effort there. But again, if you keep schools safe, people will come. But look at this, and this is the last thing I want to share with you all in terms of fun. Because of our student growth, this is how much money we receive. $2 million. Now we have about 800,000. Karen, you have that number for me?
Yeah,
Okay.
for growth, 810,377, for outcomes, 678,454.
We've already received. There just has to be a budget amendment into our general purpose. For student enrollment, we're at $2 million because we're seeing additional students coming. Again, right now, because Madison County funding, there's such a huge gap that this one will require maintenance of effort as well because of the funding in the past where the gap has exceeded. If you look at the next slide, I want to share with you all one of the things that this commission launched was our Star Teacher grant. I think you all approved that several months ago for teachers to apply for a grant using additional funds from the commission. There's a sheet in your packet, the last sheet, will tell you who the recipients of the money. What Commissioner Taylor said, hey, look, I want this initiative, but I want to show accountability. Where did it go? Here's where the first bucket of money has gone to. Each one of these teachers received $1,000, and they wrote a grant, and it was a rubric that they had to meet. And as a result, they're receiving and will be recognized for receiving this grant. One thing in talking with Chairman Taylor is we're going to add another criterion here, and that is our homelessness. Teachers, we have a homelessness population in our schools, and teachers are using their own personal funds to take care of some of these students. And what we want to do is make sure that grant offers that for our teachers. If you look in this book on page 14, you'll see information on our homelessness information. Also throughout this book, you'll see our achievement data on page 20, our TVIS growth, and what this book is going to share with you all, it's going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're going to see all of it because it's an annual report. And so you're going to see what our challenges are, but you're also going to see what our successes. But I think what is very important, at the end of the book, you're going to see our strategic plan. What are our strategies and indicators that we are looking to achieve over this year? And then when the report comes out next year, you'll see these strategies and what score we made on this. And also you'll see the new strategies coming up for the 24-25 academic year. Again, I want to thank you all for the support. I appreciate Chairman Taylor and our collaboration around this work, because this is very important work, and this work cannot be done alone. So again, thank you all so much. Are there any questions?
I hope you all were impressed with that like I was, and I can tell you this personally, I don't think there's anybody working any harder than Dr. King. I get messages from him on Sundays, Mondays, during the night, all the time. But thank you, Dr. King. And we can see that, you know, sometimes it takes a little while to get the train going, but we're moving in the right direction right here. Thank you. Report from Beth Ann Simpson, Director of Downtown Development. Come on down.
Hi, thank you, Chairman and Commissioners, for having me for a few moments today. I gave you an annual report packet for you to kind of look along while I share just briefly about downtown Jackson. As you know, the health and vibrancy of our downtown impacts Madison County as a whole, and people often look to our downtown for decisions of industry development and people just moving to town and deciding where they're going to raise their families. And so we're excited about the momentum we've had downtown for the past few years, and I can't take credit for all that or any of that. I've only been in the role a year and a half when we reestablished JDDC, kept our board and organization intact, but did kind of come up under the Co-Entrepreneur Center for support. And that's been really helpful, especially in the promotion, marketing, communication side of downtown. So we're grateful for the Co for their support as well. Part of something we had to reestablish when I came on board was our accreditation with our Tennessee Main Street and our National Main Street. And we've done that, and part of the expectations to maintain that accreditation is to submit an annual report. This is just a summary of that report, and I just wanted to highlight a few of those things. We have to highlight our work we've done, we have to track reinvestment statistics that occur downtown, and then we have to submit work plans of what we will want to accomplish in the coming year. So on that second page, I just wanted to highlight a few things from our reinvestment statistics. We had 23 new businesses locate downtown, which netted about 156 new jobs. There's been almost $12 million in public and private investment in downtown, with 27 building rehabilitation projects, 6 new housing and construction projects. And then we actually saw a decrease in our ground floor vacancy rate, which is great. We've seen, and if they aren't filled up with a retail or restaurant or business office space, then property owners are actively listing their properties and advertising, and we've seen a success there, partially because of the city's vacancy fee. I think that's been helpful, but also just having an organization boots on the ground to see what's happening and encourage property owners and be supportive. I included the Arts District information. You've probably heard this statistic from the arts and culture sector. I included it because a large part of our events and arts happen in the downtown district due to our venues and our arts organizations. We're hoping to better track our event participation. We've got some things in the work in partnership with with tourism to kind of better track who is actually coming downtown in the coming year. The next page is kind of a recap of some of the programs we accomplished. JDDC is really moving away from major event planning, but rather being a resource for those that want to host their events downtown and help them navigate processes like road closures and helping them promote their events. And we've really successfully done that, but we've still continued to do programs that are economically driven. If it gets people walking and coming downtown to spend their money, that's what we want to focus on. So a couple of those things are like Food Truck Friday, Lavender Trail, Holiday Passport Program, our Downtown in December, and our walkability campaign. We received about 100,000 in grants this past year. One was a facade improvement grant from the Tennessee ECD department, and you'll see some of that come to fruition over the next few months. We had a crosswalk art installation. We've had 5 businesses and 5 buildings impacted by our facade improvements, and that'll wrap up in the next month or so. And we received another arts grant that contributed to that, and then the Love Your Block Neighborhood Grant contributes to our free Yoga in the Park series that we'll do all year round. We continue to support small businesses through our business roundtables and just being a resource for them, and really tried to expand our directory to really highlight the diversity of our downtown and be more inclusive to what we're marketing and making sure we're communicating with all those businesses. And you'll see another little graph there that just kind of shows our communications marketing side, where how many businesses we've promoted, how many events, and kind of our reach on social media and website. And I think that just speaks to spending our resources on making sure we're highlighting what we are doing downtown. And it's we're not free of issues downtown. We have those too, but it's important that we share the good and the positive that's happening downtown, and I think it shows where we're putting our effort there. The local incubator, we do manage that, and I think that has proven to be a successful model. We've had, since its beginning in 2018, we've had 12 tenants, and 7 of those have located to a larger space downtown, and that's the goal. We want to help them start their businesses and then graduate to a larger space, and we're seeing that not just in downtown but impact Jackson as a whole. So that's kind of a recap of some of the things we accomplished, and we're looking forward to applying for another facade improvement grant where we'll focus on Royal, the corridor in Royal, and continue some of those economic development programs, and again, just being a resource for businesses and property owners and as an economic arm. We're excited about the LRK plans final drafts will be coming out soon for the sub area of downtown, and how we can be an extension of how we implement those plans. So we're excited about that growth. I also just wanted to open the door make sure you know who I am, and if there are contacts, people you need to connect to downtown, please reach out and use JDDC as a resource for you, and I'm happy to meet with you individually, answer any questions, and if you have any questions now, I'm happy to answer those, and I appreciate your time.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is Simpson. Do you know when the airways improvements may be going into effect? Yeah, I know it's been a while.
I know that they're making plans to do that first section at the Triangle, but I'm not sure exactly when that'll take place.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your time.
Should be in the next budget year.
Reports from county officials, standing and special committees, any old business and action thereof by the board. Vice Mayor Smith.
Yes, there is a resolution that we need to take up regarding the IT committee, so someone can make a motion to suspend the rules.
Make a motion, we suspend the rules.
Have a first and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. The IT and Budget Committee met and approved a recommendation by our Chief Information Officer, Matt Presson, to enter a 5-year network infrastructure agreement with CDWG at an annual cost of $69,433,000.87. This will modernize our current networking and save us, well, this will be a decrease from $80,000 annually. So this will be, save the county money and improve our structure. So this will come as a recommendation from the IT and Budget Committee to the Commission for approval.
All those in favor, vote aye. Oh, yes, a motion and a second. Motion.
I'll second.
Second.
Who made the motion? Commissioner Wall.
Commissioner Wall.
Thank you.
Second by Commissioner Bryant. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Chairman, we had a personnel meeting and nothing to approve there, but we also had a highway committee meeting, and we do have to take up a motion to consider Lewis Road. On Lewis Road, we have a speed limit change, so we'll have to take up a motion on that.
Okay. Bart, would you like to speak on it?
Yes, the Highway Committee was requested to look at the speed limit on Lewis Road, which is in the northern part of the county. It extends north from US Highway 45 east to the Gibson County line. I think that road goes into Gibson County. I think it's called Turkey Creek Road in Gibson County. And so we had a request for a speed limit to be established on that road. We commissioned the Sheriff's Department to do a traffic survey, and they prepared and delivered a traffic survey with a recommendation to set the speed limit on Lewis Road at 30 miles per hour. The Highway Committee considered that on Thursday and voted unanimously to recommend a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit on Lewis Road.
It's a committee recommendation. No second required. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
We also have to look at the 2024 county road list and have a motion on that. Bart's going to talk about that just a little bit as well.
Sure. So the 2024 county road list has just a couple of minor changes from last year. The only two changes that we have were some improvements that we made to Mount Pinson Road in District 7. We upgraded the western end of Mount Pinson Road from dirt to gravel. We widened it a little bit, so those changes are reflected in the new road list. And then also, if you recall, back in June, the county voted to remove Youthtown Road from the county road list at the request of Youthtown, so that they could better control their property and their security, because that road went right through the middle of their property. And so that was approved back in June, but that change is reflected on this list as well. And those are the only two changes to the 2024 county road list.
This was a committee recommendation. No second required on the county road list. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Road list passes. Any other? Yes.
Yes, Chair. Since joining the library board in 2022, I've not given an update on the library, so I wanted to do that briefly since we had a lighter agenda. I threw this together. I will note this is not an official document of the library. I put this together yesterday, so don't distribute this, but I just wanted to have some kind of visual. I'll run through it really quickly. The library has really great leadership under Director Dinah Harris. I don't know if she's here. I think she is. But she does a really fantastic job. 6 of our 7 board members are certified trustees, which means they've gone through a state certified training program, and that actually gets the library more grant dollars, the more trustees that are certified, so that's great. We have a great team. I've created this little handout just to give you some statistics. Noteworthy, about 73,000 people hold library cards, which is 74% of the county. So it is a huge resource. It is a free resource for our community. It does incredible work, and a lot of our residents use it. We put in people counters last year, and it's almost 15,000 people come to the library every month, which is incredible. So people are using it, people are using the spaces, people are checking out books. Almost 36,000 books are circulated every month as well. They've started a lot of new initiatives to just kind of meet the changing needs, more innovation, so things like a maker space at the downtown branch, There's a new podcast. They have a partnership with Jackson-Madison County School System to get more students to have library cards with the permission of their parents. And so there's a lot going on at the library. Even just this week, you can go to Tai Chi, embroidery class. You can go to story time with toddlers. It's a free resource that's helping to educate our community. The main needs for the library moving forward are for facilities. And so we have 2 branches, one at the North Branch, downtown library. Years ago, under board chair Lane Christensen, there was a strategic plan made to expand the downtown library. The county and the city purchased land to be able to do that, but there's been no movement on that. And so we've had a lot of discussions as a board with the North Branch having a lease that's been extended multiple times, but it's not the best location and it has continual issues with leaking and things like that. So we're just trying to figure out, do we get a new lease for the North Branch? Do we expand the downtown library? Do we combine into a new build in a more centrally located location? So just those are the things that are thinking through long-range planning and also just important to think about as we go into budget session. So thank you.
Any other reports? Any amendments, transfers to the general fund, school department, capital projects, highway department, debt services, juvenile court services, budget for the fiscal year 23-24? Commissioner Alexander.
All right, do the school side first. Out of 141 general schools, $2,500. This is for other student support. It's to recognize new revenue from a donation given to the Social and Behavioral Services Department to be spent on homeless.
Can you make that larger, the print larger?
Slide, it can't be made larger on the fly. We have to re-edit the slide. Should be in the packet.
Thank you.
In the future, we'll make sure we get it as large as possible.
All right, general purpose funds, committee recommendation, no second required, $2,500. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. And while we're on this, Dr. King, I would like to thank you and, oh gosh, I've got Jason for your work on the budget. This year has been a lot smoother and we really appreciate it, don't we?
Moving over to the county side, this one comes out of fund balance. It's for $4,516.54. It's a budget amendment for a sign at the industrial park, which includes $4,116.54 for Delta Electrical to do the install, and then an estimated $400 for JEA bills for the remainder of fiscal year 24.
Committee recommendation, no second required. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Pass.
Next is the Sheriff's Office. This is under grants, new funds, $40,000, setting up a new fiscal year 24 Tennessee law enforcement hiring, training, and recruitment program grant contract. This does not affect the maintenance of effort or general fund balance.
Committee recommendation, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Next is for the Health Department, $251,325.33. This is aligning grant to the contract.
It's committee recommendation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes.
Next is out of reserves or state mandated. The Sheriff's Office, $4,309.67. It's to transfer funds from courtroom security reserve account to data processing services in order to install security cameras.
It's committee recommendation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Next is insurance recovery funds. Fire Department, $1,040 reimbursement for live fire training.
It's committee recommendation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Next is also Fire Department, $5,012.64 reimbursement for firefighters working at the airport from November through January.
It's committee recommendation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Last one is Sheriff's Office, $8,466.50. These are insurance recovery funds to the Vehicle Capital Fund for damage to Madison County Sheriff's Office patrol cars. This does not affect fund balance or maintenance of effort.
Committee recommendation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, that completes our report.
Thank you. Appointment of 2 liaisons to the Conservation Board by CLB, 1-year term, Luther Mercer and Richard Watson, incumbents.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to reappoint.
Second.
Have a first and second to reappoint. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Appointment's passed. Appointment of 2 members to the Long Range Planning Committee by CLB, 1-year term, County Mayor and Finance Director, incumbents. I need a motion.
Motion approved.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Pass. Appointment of 2 at-large member Long Range Planning Committee by CLB, 1-year term, Mike Bryant, Olivia Abernathy, incumbents.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept those incumbents.
Do I have a second? Second, Commissioner Hall. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Number 13, appointment of 1 member to the Long Range Planning Committee by the Financial Management Committee with CLB approval, 1-year term, Mike Taylor, incumbent.
Make a motion to reappoint.
Second.
Second.
Have a first and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Number 14, appointment of 2 members to the Long Range Planning Committee by the Budget Committee with CLB approval, 1-year term, Joey Hale, incumbent, and 1 vacant seat.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we retain Joey Hale on that committee and also appoint Commissioner Gary Deaton.
Have
Second.
a first and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Without objection, we'll approve the notary publics. And I think at this time, are there any other matters related or connected with matters set forth, items 1 through 15? Now, don't get up because we're going to have an attorney-client meeting. Okay. Now I would like for everyone to clear the room except the commissioners and people will be involved in the meeting, please. 27.
Make a motion to suspend the rules.
Okay.
I second.
Second. All those in favor of suspending the rules say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Rules suspended. Chairwoman Mercer had called me and requested that we change those to a March expiration so that they would line up with the city and with the Board of Education's members, and it would just make it cleaner and easier for her to keep up with who's coming off and who's going on, and I said it would be fine. And if that's okay with everyone else, I'll entertain a motion. Motion and a second. All those in favor of aligning the 3 members of the Education Foundation with expiration terms in March, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
I think we need to also, don't we need to go ahead and reappoint those that we did before, starting in the March?
Well, that's what we just did, March.
Okay, I thought your motion was to
Extended the term.
to extend the term, is to change the terms from March to.
Yeah, we changed the terms where they're going to expire in March.
Right. So the motion was also to include the extension?
I don't know, you can make it however. Jay, what do we need to do there?
Well, what I took the motion as is we were just extending from October, the expiration of the terms, to March of the next year, so that they would be in line with the city.
So it would cover those.
Yeah, it would cover the appointments. We're just extending the terms out of 6 more months, so that they'll line up with the city and the school board appointments.
You talking about the end of March, 1st of March, or just whatever? Or?
Just in March. We'd have to reappoint at the county commission in March. Next year, one person. We've already approved the notaries, and without objection, we'll adjourn.